Hey everybody. If everybody is wondering why I'm wearing all black, well, I'm wearing all black because it's I'm mourning the death of my free time. I haven't been around a whole lot during August, hadn't been able to film much, and September is going to be just about as bad. With September, where I work, pretty much the entire month of September, I'm going to be working 12 hours a day the whole month with no days off. So, you know, lucky me. Well, anyway. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to show today a very different kind of rope chair. It's called an X chair, and it's a really cool chair. And there's a couple of different reasons for it, and some of the reasons, about 4 or 5 different reasons, and I'll kind of go over them after it's built. The main thing is I'm hoping that, you know, anybody that's ever followed me, if you've learned anything from me, it's how important rope is, to carry rope with you. You can make anything out of rope. So anyway, if you got rope with you, you can make this chair. And the roof that goes with it uses a special tarp that I made. There's several different uses for it too, but the coolest is the way you use it as a roof. So I'm gonna show that too. It's called a tri-tarp. So, all right, let's head on. It's pretty thick right here. Let's head on down to little ways and see if we can find us a nice flat spot. All right, now first thing I did is I started with a couple of sticks, okay, and I went ahead and I spared you the agony of watching me find limbs and chop them. So anybody can do that. But anyway, the thing is, with this chair, all you need is, if you want to, it's safe if you use something green. But here lately, what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to find things that are not completely rotten, but they're already dead and on the ground, okay? And depending on how much you weigh, you know, you may need green, or, you know, I only weigh 170. I can get by with stuff that's laying on the ground. Same thing for the roof, and we'll hit the roof here in a little while. But now on the chair, there's 3 things that you got to remember, okay? It's kind of a rule of thumb. I'm 5'11", okay? At 5'11", this chair works out perfectly if you remember this: chest, belt, and knee, okay? That's all you got to remember. What that is you start out with the sticks, okay? Your sticks are going to be like chest high. That's a pretty good rule of thumb, okay? Now, then you go knee high. Let's see if I'll aim you down right here. Then what you want to do is you want to go knee high, and you want to cut a flat. Now, I've already done that, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to take those 2 flats and you're going to cross them over, okay? Now, that's what makes it an X chair, okay? Now, when I say chest, belt, and knee, where the belt part comes in is when you actually start tying on the tree, is where it's you tie it around the tree. Say I'm losing my concentration. Belt high, and if you'll stick to those dimensions, then pretty much you won't have any problems, and it'll work out pretty good, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get you down there on the ground, and I'm gonna show you the first part of how you tie these up with paracord. And when I don't just carry wads of paracord. What I do is I usually carry lengths of paracord in my pocket, and I only carry 3 piles of paracord. I carry either 12 foot, 24 foot, or 50 foot. And that way all of my shelters are all based on me automatically knowing what to grab. Same thing with my rope. I only carry 25 feet, 50 feet, and 100 feet. You see, like right now, well, you can't see it. Oh. Well, I'll show it to you in a minute. Right now I'm carrying, I think I'm carrying 2 50-foot hanks of rope, and I only need 1 50-footer. So that's what I'm going to use. But anyway, all you need is 24 feet of paracord to get your X chair started, okay? Look at that, I done wasted 3 minutes rambling. See, good thing I didn't let you watch me chop on them things. We'd be here all day. All right, let me get you on the ground and we'll tie this thing up. Down here on the ground, let me get some of this stuff here off of me. Now the first thing that you want to do, let me get this out of the body. Get all this crap off. You can see I have 2 lengths of 25-foot rope, okay? I mean 50-foot rope. 50 foot generally does the job. I'm only going to need one 50-footer. I'll just go ahead and carry an extra just in case I need it, okay? Now, this was the knee-high dimension that I was talking about. You just cut a flat. And what that does is that flat, it's down towards the lower end. It's not in the center. So that when you tie it together, you have a little bit of an X here, and you have a whole lot more X at the top, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paracord, and I'm going to tie this off right here, okay? So I'm going to tie that off, and then I'll cut you back on. Alright, now, I'll go ahead and show you real quick since I'm using 1 hank of cord instead of 2. Now what you want to do is you want to tie this off. Let's see. Kind of awkward. You just want to wrap it around a few times. No big deal, okay? Now once you got it wrapped around a few times, you're going to travel down one leg and tie these 2 together, okay? And what these are going to be is that distance is going to be less than the diameter of the base of the tree you choose. Doesn't make sense now, but it's going to make sense in just a minute, okay? So what I do now is you just take it and you wrap it around, okay? Now once you get here, set it up on my knee. Okay, you can see it. What you want to do now, like I said, this is going to sit at the base of the tree. You'll see it in just a minute. You want to take this and you want to wrap it around a few times, okay? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to keep these things together so that they don't spread out. Maybe wrap around a couple of times. Okay, now, then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run it back up. Whatever cord I have left over, throwing you up here where you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to run it back up. And then I'm going to take the rest of it. And then I'm going to tie it all around here. Okay? Now. Alright, let me tie this off in a knot. Alright. Wait a minute, screwed it up. I always do that. Alright, now, what this does is you can see, let me lift you up right here. What this is doing is you have an X. This thing is still flexible. Okay, this thing will still flex a little bit, but you have a little short distance here. You have an X right here where it's crossed, and then there's more length where it's wider up at the top. Okay, that's what it should look like. Now, let's find our chosen tree, and then I'll show you where the rope comes in. Okay, now we have chosen our tree over here, and I have my X ready. The way this thing works is this X, it just sits right at the base of that tree right there. Okay, and then this part right here, you just lay it on the ground. Okay, now next thing you do is you take your rope, and this is one time where you go ahead and you completely unravel the rope, and it's kind of a messy operation, because normally what I do when I use rope is I will feed it out a little at a time. But what you want to do with this is you want to go ahead and feed out the rope, and then you find the center of it, okay? And then I'll show you what you do next. All right, I got the rope unraveled. All you got to do now is you grab into the rope and you just start pulling it through, okay? Then when you get through with it even, whoo, you're gonna have the center of the rope. And you're gonna have 25 feet on each side, okay? Now comes in the belt part, okay? I'll show you that on the tree. Right here might be kind of hard to film, but you'll get the idea of the way I've explained it, okay? Take your rope, and you're about at belt height, okay? What you want to do is you want to wrap it around the tree, okay? That's easy, ain't it? And then you just pull that rope back behind you, okay? And then all you want to do is you just want to tie it in just a simple knot. Okay? Pull one in through. Like I say, belt high seems to work pretty good for me. Okay, so you got this thing tied off right here on the back of the tree. You got 25 feet on each side. And then you just want to pull it forward. Okay? And once you pull it forward, I'm going to move the camera so that you can see what's next. Listen, this is becoming a doozy to film. But you can see, I'm going to try to do it as best as I can. You set the X on the ground, okay, where the paracord is tied off right there. You just lay it on the ground. You got the rope tied off, I think, I can't see, right there, belt high. And you got the two loops coming down, laying on the ground. Okay? Now, I'll show you what you do next. Let me lock this into place. Okay? Alright. Oh, now. Okay. You got your X right here sitting at the base of the tree. Okay? And what you want to do is hold it up about belt high again. Okay? Because you got your rope belt high. You take both pieces of rope in both hands. Okay? This takes a little bit of practice, and honestly, I haven't made this in years, but a discussion was brought up recently, and that's the reason why I'm making this, okay? Now, okay, you can see how I've got this about belt high. And what you do is you wrap it around, okay? You put about 2 wraps on it, okay? Now, you're going to want to stand on one of them. What you want to do is throw the rope under. Alright, hold on. I'm going to have to, alright. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. I'm going to bring you in closer so that you can see exactly what I'm doing now. I just wanted you to kind of see how it was set up right now. So you get the basic idea. It's around the tree, and you've got it out supported with the X sitting at the base of the tree. Okay, I got you where you can see what I'm doing now. I got the pieces stretched out, and I wrapped it around, and I threw this one through, okay? And that's what I'm going to do right here on this one, okay? What you do is, because if you don't come up under it, this rope will slide down, okay? So what you want to do is you want to put 2 loops around it, okay? And then you take the rope and you throw it through. Now you may have to watch this video a couple of times to be able to remember how to do this. But once you get it down pat, you understand, because you can, and so you wrap it around underneath here, and this helps support this, okay? You'll understand that once you've done this, you will see that it's pretty dang good. It's a pretty good chair, and if you set it up the same way every time, it'll never collapse. Okay. Now I have wrapped this around here, and then you just bring it over here, and you go around. Oh, got a hornet. You go over, and then you go over it twice. Okay. Now see, this is what stinks right here, is because you got all that rope, but that's the only way of getting this thing centered up. Okay. And then you pull it over here, throw this rope over on this side, and you don't pull it real tight because you'll pull the rope in. You want to kind of tie it loose. Okay? You go over twice. Okay? Throw all that rope over, then go back over to the other side. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using one length of rope to go back and forth all the way up until I'm against the tree. Okay. So I'm going to do that again, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this other rope that's laying here. This is what you do one more time. Okay. You take the rope. I'm thinking I've got you right. Yeah. Okay. You take the rope and you lay it over. Okay. And then you wrap it around. Throw it over. Okay, you wrap it around twice, and then you're coming back under. Okay, you're over here. Can you see me? Wait a minute, where you at? There you are. Man, it's tough. Everything's the opposite. Okay, you go under, and you go over. All right, you're over, but you go over twice. Okay. Now, you see why I do this with 25 feet of rope. 25 feet works perfect. Any more than that, and it ain't going to work. All right, I'm going to finish these up, and I'll cut you back on and show you the finish. Okay, as you can see now, what I have done is I have all these loops crisscrossed back and forth. Okay? That's the first length of cord. No big deal. Well, length of rope. And what you want to do now, see, these things will still slide around a little bit. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to kind of slide them around, and you want to get them even. Okay? Now, what you do is you take the second piece of rope. I got that first piece. Now you want to take, you got your other cord hanging off the side right here. And what you want to do with it is you want to wrap it around. Okay? What you want to do is you want to wrap it around, let's see, probably twice. Wait a minute. I'm going to go up under. This thing looks kind of rickety, but it's not. Once you sit in it, it's pretty nice. Probably should have done that earlier. Alright, now, what you want to do is wrap it around the middle right here. I'm hoping you can see this. Let me aim you over a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now what you want to do is you want to wrap it around a little bit, and then you want to make a loop, and then you just wrap it around to where you have a loop here. Okay? Can you see that loop? And then you just feed the cord through it. Wait a minute. Alright, there you go. And then what you want to do is you're going to go right up through the center here, tying it off with the same method that I had used before. Now this takes a little effort. Because there's so much rope here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through this, and then I'm going to cut you back on. Now it kind of looks like a sloppy operation, but what you're doing, you can just grab a handful of it and just loop it through twice, like that. And it'll kind of speed you up just a little bit. Okay? And what's cool is you're not using any knots on this. All you're doing is you're just using a bunch of loops. So you can take it apart easily without having to untie a bunch of knots. Now see, it looks pretty messy, but it's actually quite effective. It looks incredibly sloppy, but what it does is these pieces of rope that's in between, they make it so that when you sit down, the loops don't spread out. Okay? And see, when you get to the end over here, when you get to the end of it, you just run it around the tree. You got it over here, and then you just tie it off on this side. So no big deal. Alright, now comes the part where I either look good, or I look bad. Alright, now you can see how it is. You got your X frame going all the way down, and there's a rope part. Now the way you sit in it, let's see if I can do this without it collapsing. The way you sit in it is you just back up to it and you just fall back in it. Put your hands right here and you push down and you just hop right in. And there you go. Perfectly comfortable. And you can lean your head against a tree right here. All right, now let me get out of this thing and I'll show you something else. Oh. All right, let me hop into this thing again. It was making a, all right, that's pretty good right there. Now, you can tailor this thing to make it a little bit bigger if you want to, but basically what it is some of the uses of these things, if somebody had asked me one time, they said that, you know, you carry rope, let's say you make a rope bed. Well, what if you can't find two big trees close to each other? Well, you can make a rope chair out of one tree, okay? That's one advantage. Another advantage is rope's got 1,000 uses, okay? If you carry rope, you can make you a nice chair like this. Now, what reminded me to bring this up was I got into a discussion with a friend that they said, what do you do if you've hiked up way out in the middle of nowhere and your back is killing you from all the hiking? And I said, well, I know this thing called an X chair that is good for your back, okay? And what you can do is, I mean, you can actually rock in it and your feet ain't touching the ground, your feet are swinging, and it actually makes your back feel better, okay? I'll show you that in a minute at another angle. But another thing is a friend asked me, said, how do you keep down the mosquitoes, the bugs, and how do you camp in hot weather? Okay, well, if you find a tree that's overhanging a running creek or a running stream, one big tree that's next to it, you can build something like this to where you're overhanging the creek, and it kind of keeps the bugs down and it'll keep you very, very cool. The cold water rushing under you. The only thing is it's just a little tricky to get in. Now, I heard a popping sound earlier, and it might have been these sticks that I picked up. But, you know, if you're going to sleep in something like this for a while or sit in something, go ahead and chop you down some green sticks, you know. I didn't want to do it because I always get insulted, but anyway. Let me move the camera so I can show you how my feet ain't touching the ground. All right, I got you down here a little bit where you can see it. Now, I'm not a chiropractor or anything, but I do know that when you're laying flat, you're not relaxing your back as much, but when you're able to have your feet just hanging, dangling down, it makes your back feel better. You know, if you've hiked, if you're 10 miles up a mountain and there's no relief, I mean, it ain't like you got a heating pad. But anyway, I'll show you how you can kind of do that. See, once you lay in it, your feet will swing. And not only that, you can actually rock a little bit. This thing, it'll rock a good bit. Oh man, this is so comfortable. Alright, now, okay, now that's the X chair. Now what I'm going to show you is something else pretty neat. It's called the Tarp roof. Let me dig it out over here and I'll show it to you. All the Tarp is it's a gigantic triangle, okay? It's just a gigantic triangle, and I had one years ago that ripped, and I made a new one. I had some material left over from when I made the Dakota Pit tent, and so what I'll do is I'll show you how to use that. And it's pretty neat because it's a freestanding roof, and all it takes is a tarp and some paracord and two sticks that you just pick up off the ground. They don't even have to be green. I'll go grab them in a minute. I'll roll this out real quick and I'll kind of show you. All it is it's a gigantic triangle. Okay, I got it laid out on the ground, and as you can see, all it is a gigantic triangle. Okay, that's where the name Tarp comes from. It also makes a good floorless tent. I may show that one day in another video. Alright, now the next thing that you want to do is you want to get you a couple of sticks that are taller than your head, okay? This is something that you're going to have to experiment with. That if you ever do make you a tri-tarp, you're just going to have to get used to what lengths to use. But for me, what I do with my tarp, and I can't remember the dimensions, I think it's like the triangle itself is like a 9 foot by 9 foot by 11, I think. But anyway, if you make one, you can tailor it to it. And you don't necessarily have to have a triangle tarp. You can use a regular tarp. Ain't that big of a deal. It's a lot easier to set up. But anyway, get you a couple of sticks, and if they're cracked on the end, that's great. That's perfect. If they're not, then you can notch the ends, okay? But what I like to do, since it's a roof, you don't necessarily have to have any green ones. You can use some dried ones, because I mean it's going to be good unless you got a hailstorm coming. You know, then if you got a hailstorm coming, you really shouldn't be out camping. But I'm just gonna get all these little notches off of here, so that I don't poke a hole into my tarp. So I'm gonna get all these off, and then we'll dig out the paracord, and I'll show you how to set the roof up. First thing you do, grab you up a 50-foot hank of paracord. Okay, now the center of the stick. Okay, what you want to move over is about probably half the diameter of the tree. And then you take, I love making them funny sounds. About that means I'm thinking. Oh, you ever do that when you think? All right, let me see here now. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to tie you off the paracord. Let me pull it up. All right. Use a cinch knot. Okay. Now, got the center of the stick. Okay. You want to move over about half the diameter of the tree. What you're going to do then is you're going to set it against the tree, wrap the cord around it. Okay. No big deal. Probably about right there. Alright, so you just wrap it around. Yes, it helps to have another person. Alright. Put it like that right there. Go around the tree with your paracord. Go around it and over it. Okay? And then give it a good tight pull. And then pull your paracord back around. Okay? And then you give it another wrap. Okay? Trying to keep that stick there as level as you can. Alright, now you just loop it around. And for now, feed you some out and throw it on the ground. Okay? Stay. Now the next part, you get the other stick. Now what you want to do is you grab a 12-footer, okay? And what you want to do is you want to tie it, okay? You see your bar going across right there. Okay, so your bar, what you want to do is you want to go up about a foot, and you want to tie this paracord off and then just throw it over the side. Okay, so I'm going to tie that off, and then I'll show you what to do next. Alright, I got that thing tied off, and you just pull some cord out, and you just kind of throw it out here on the end. What you're going to do is you're going to take your other stick, like I say, it's a little over head high, or basically the length of your tarp. And then what you're going to do with it is you're going to take one end of it. You're going to take one end of it and you're going to rest it right there. And it's going to hang out. And then you're going to tie the end off of that paracord that you have tied 1 foot high. Okay? What that's going to do is you're going to have a T-shape tied to the tree with the paracord coming down at an angle. So let's do that real quick. Alright, now, that thing's going to swing to one side, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that paracord that I had hung over there, and I'm going to wrap it around out there, and then I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to come back there to an angle, okay? I'm going to kind of show you that, but I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to tie that, and then I'm going to have to show you up close. I'm going to have to follow the cord to show you how it's done. I'm kind of show you this here. These splits out here on the end, whether they're a natural split or whether you cut it with a knife or you notch it with a saw, they come in handy, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach over here. Alright, I got the rest of my cord right here, so what I'm going to do now, wait a minute. Alright, I'm going to go up there, and then I'm coming down here, and I'm going to go inside this notch. Okay? Wrap it around one time, now I'm going to go out here and I'm going to grab this other piece. Okay, there's the end of that one piece, and I've got my cord here, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swing this over to the center line, and then I'm going to run this in, and I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to go that way. Okay? What I'm doing is I'm kind of trying to set it up as like I got the T going out there, and then I got the paracord coming up high at all these different angles, trying to make like a roof slope. So I'm gonna tie the rest of this off, and then I'll show it to you before I throw the tarp. All right, this is one of those little details right here that'll teach you how to cuss if you ain't careful. Okay, now I have wrapped around the tree. Now this is the main line holding up at one pole that's a foot high, okay? And then I got these two other lines going around, and then I've wrapped around the tree. Well, I want to come back down the center line again, okay? I'm coming off the outside of the tree, so what you want to do is you take that loop that you went around, and you want to pull it out, okay? See my finger? And you give it a twist, okay? Now, once you've given it a twist, you take the other end. Here I'm fumbling around. Okay, you got that twist. What you want to do is put your paracord through it and pull through. Okay, and see, that's how you can. Now I'm in the center line of the tree instead of coming off the side of the tree. So now I've got a double ridge line. Ain't that cool? I'm gonna go down here and tie it off. And I got a double ridge line coming up here now. The one that I tied off when I showed you that little loop right there. Well, you just move on out here now and say, I've already got one, so now I'm going to have another one. You just go in here, maybe pick up a little bit on it. See how that notch comes in nice and handy? And then you just give it a wrap. And there you go. You're pretty much at the end of your 24 foot of paracord. Now I'll tell you another thing you can do. Okay? I'm going to let you, let me crank you down here. I'm going to try, you get the idea now. You got this main bar going against the tree, and then you've got it going across, okay? Oh, one detail I left out, you have to take an extra piece of paracord and tie off that one, okay? You got to tie off that bar right there so it don't slip. You just take an extra small piece and tie it on. But you can see that you've got a paracord going up there, down there, and then you've got them coming out. Looks almost like an airplane, okay? I'm gonna take some paracord and tie that off, and then I'll throw the tarp over and I'll show you what it looks like. A whole lot to this part. You just take some, you some paracord here. Take a 12 footer and grab it right in the center. And all you do is throw it over, okay? And then throw one side over. And then throw the other side over. And then you just go under and around the tree. Cross over, throw it back, cross over, throw it back. Still got you here. And then you're just going to wrap it around again. No big deal, and then you tie it in a knot. Well, we'll use a bow for it. And see, that ought to secure this end right here to the tree. It's resting on top of this, and then you're also secured to the tree, okay? All right, I'm gonna back you up and I'll throw the tarp on now so we can see what it looks like. All right, now my tarp, the outside of it is that marine camo. This is a dual layer tarp. The inside is just a cheap old regular tarp lining. I got a row of grommets across the back, and then I've got dual grommets right in the front. Now, you kind of get the idea of that right there. Now, where there's a dip in it right here, you can also tie another piece of paracord. You can tie a couple of more lengths of paracord right there to it, okay? But normally, you can stretch it tight. And what I do is I don't even use paracord for the tying off the ends of the tarp. I just use shoelaces. I carry a pocket full of shoelaces for tying off the tarp. Works great. Alright, now there's a little bit closer view of it. That's what the outside of it looks like. That's the tarp roof. There's the X chair, you saw that earlier. Let's go up under here and take a little, probably gonna get dark up under here. But you can see the framework up under there. It's completely supported. I haven't tied that end off yet. I'll tie it off in a minute. And you can see the underneath here. See? That dip right in there, you can run paracord. What I was saying is from here to here. If you're worried about the rain collecting. But once you stretch it, you got to go from corner to corner to corner to corner, tighten it up slowly. Because if you pull all that slop out at one time, it'll get loose. Okay? Ain't that neat? And see, another thing you can do is up inside this roof up inside here, you can hang your gear. It's almost like having a gear loft up ahead. There's my freestanding roof. Like I said before, ain't that neat? Alright, time to wrap things up. I think y'all seen enough of me. At least for one video. Oh me. Alright, well, I hope y'all had fun and hope you learned a little something. This roof can be pretty much used anywhere on any one single tree. Okay? And it's great because it's freestanding. If you got to get up and go at night, you don't have any guide wires to worry with. The chair is just outright fun. Experiment with it. Experiment with rope lengths. Experiment with lengths of your poles. You know, but whatever you do, make it fun. have fun in the woods. Time for me to take a nap. And I will see you in the next one.